Hi, my name is Stephanie Taylor, and this is my speech on persuasion. My topic is secondhand smoke. I stumbled out of the room, coughing and wheezing, smoke filling my eyes and my lungs. I tugged frantically at my shirt collar to loosen it around my neck. I was choking. My head was pounding, and I ran out the door. Fresh air! I gotta have fresh air! Was it a fire? Was it a terrorist attack? No. I was simply walking through a public area on a cruise boat with my husband when a lady at one of the slot machines in the casino decided to light up a cigarette. The smoke went right into my face and my lungs. All of a sudden, I couldn't breathe. My chest hurt and I panicked. I got out of there as quick as possible to find me some fresh air to breathe. Ladies and gentlemen, by the end of this year, more people will die from secondhand smoke-related deaths than the average crowd at a Major League Baseball game. Secondhand or passive smoke is an insidious killer that is harming adults and, more critically, children around the country every day. My goal in speaking to you today is to enlist your support of banning all smoking from all public places without hesitation. But you say, isn't this America? Should you have the right to be able to smoke where and when you want? If I want to pollute my lungs and ruin my health, then that should not be any concern of yours. Some of you may ask, what exactly is secondhand smoke? According to the American Cancer Society, secondhand smoke is defined as environmental tobacco smoke or passive smoke. It is a mixture of two forms of smoke that come from burning tobacco: side stream smoke, which is smoke that comes from the end of a lighted cigarette, a pipe, or a cigar, and mainstream smoke, which is smoke that is exhaled by a smoker. Even though we think of these as the same, they aren't. The side stream smoke has higher concentrations of cancer-causing agents, carcinogens, than the mainstream smoke, and it contains smaller particles than mainstream smoke, which make their way into the body cells more easily. When non-smokers are exposed to secondhand smoke, it is called involuntary smoking or passive smoking. Non-smokers who breathe in secondhand smoke take in nicotine and other toxic chemicals just like smokers do. The more secondhand smoke you are exposed to, the higher the levels of these harmful chemicals in your body are. The facts are that secondhand smoke is responsible for many of the same diseases as if you were sucking on the cigarette yourself. According to the CDC, secondhand smoke causes heart disease, coronary heart disease, cardiovascular disease, lung cancer, and respiratory diseases. For example, the International Agency on Research on Cancer found that involuntary smoking is carcinogenic to humans. Various studies in the United States, Australia, and United Kingdom point to a significant increase in risk of lung cancer among those exposed to passive smoke. The California Environmental Protection Agency found that passive smoking increases the risk of breast cancer in women by 70%. On my PowerPoint here, I just have some statistics of smoking and secondhand smoking and what the results are according to adults, and as well as children. The effects on adults: it increases the risk of breast cancer in women by 70%. It contributes to hearing loss in non-smoking adolescents. Exposure to secondhand smoke increases the risk of cognitive impairment and dementia in adults 50 and over. The effects on children: it causes premature death, disease, SIDS, lower respiratory infections, middle ear disease, severe asthma, respiratory symptoms, and slowed lung growth. Secondhand smoke has also been associated with the loss of hearing in non-smoking adolescents. What? What did you say? I say that as a joke, but it really is true. As published in Health and Medicine magazine, teens who had no secondhand smoke exposure compared to those who had been exposed exhibited higher rates of low and higher frequency hearing loss. The results also demonstrated that more than 80% of participants with hearing loss did not realize that they had impairment. Studies have shown that both passive and active cigarette smoking increases the risk of their atherosclerosis. Also, exposure to secondhand smoke increases the risk of cognitive impairment and dementia in adults age 50 and over. Now, on to the sad part. But a very important part of this speech, how secondhand smoke affects children. As I have mentioned before in the PowerPoint, some of the effects that it has on children, and I will go over them again. Putting children at risk is unforgivable and at best probably criminal. Most parents of young children and even older children want only the best for their children. I am a mother of 3 children, and I only want the very best for them. I would do anything for them, especially when it comes to their health and wellness. Those parents who smoke are putting their children at risk. In a 2006 report by the U.S. Surgeon General, he stated that secondhand smoke causes premature death and disease in children. Children that are exposed to secondhand smoke have an increased risk for sudden infant death syndrome, or SIDS, lower respiratory infections, middle ear disease, severe asthma, respiratory symptoms, and slowed lung growth. Because children's respiratory, immune and nervous systems are still developing, children are especially vulnerable to the health effects of secondhand smoke. Children depend on their parents and other adults to protect them, but what some caregivers don't think about is that they are really doing them more harm than good by exposing them to secondhand smoke. Children are usually exposed to secondhand smoke involuntarily and don't really have a choice when it comes to being exposed to it. The home is the major place that the children are exposed to secondhand smoke. Those children are exposed to secondhand smoke in their homes have higher levels of cotinine, a biological marker for secondhand smoke exposure, and those that are not exposed. Children exposed to passive smoking are at a greater risk to develop brain tumors, even if the mother does not smoke. The California Environmental Protection Agency found that the risk of childhood cancer and adult lung cancer increases after childhood exposure to passive smoking. Sadly, we could go on and on and on and on about the effects that secondhand smoke has on children. Secondhand smoke is a problem. No matter where you go, whether you go to a public restaurant, a concert, or any event where smoking is allowed, it is impacting the health of our population, increasing health care costs, and is causing too many health-related problems and deaths. While people have the option to smoke, I, on the other hand, do not have the option to not breathe, nor do our children. If you choose to smoke, then that is your choice. But please, for everyone else's sake around you, do it responsibly and not around those of us who do not smoke. If you ever get the chance to vote for banning smoking in all public areas, please do so. It will help to solve this terrible problem that is affecting everyone around us. Do your part to clean up the air that we all have to breathe. Thank you.